This interview is sponsored by TYM Tractors.
Have you always dreamed of owning and working your land? You need just the right tractor. The TYM line of tractors are the toughest and most versatile tractor for all your jobs. Drive your dream. Visit your TYM tractor dealer today. TYM Tractors. The stuff dreams are made of.
Joe.
Tony, what's up, buddy?
In the blue deep.
I'm in the deep blue, buddy. So I did a little messing around with my my little backlighting here, and it's doing some interesting stuff. Kind of like it. Kind of look like a cop car.
Yeah, you're getting there like you're going to the club.
That's right. Well, yeah. Hey, I'm glad we didn't have a debate tonight to get in the way of the show.
I know.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Anything interesting happening, around November 5th or anything like that, or just regular?
I heard something happen around November 5th, but I don't really get in politics that much. Not too much.
I haven't been watching much TV.
I've just never missed a vote ever.
Well, man, I see a bunch of our friends are here. Welcome back to our fireside chat. We're gonna have some fun tonight. We're gonna have a lot of fun tonight.
Whether Farms, Chuck Miller.
Yep.
Bob Carr, Kent, Hope Construction, LLC.
Lots of our buddies. Yeah. What you been up to? What you been working on?
Listen, I was actually looking forward to talking tonight because you know how much I don't like talking. But Tanya and I did some hinky stuff today. This
is a family channel.
Listen, hinky, not kinky.
I don't
remember. You don't remember what was the Scooby Doo? They said hinky. It was hinky. I'm older than you, apparently.
Okay, let's go with that.
Go with
it.
Everybody else,
listen.
If you know what hinky is, let us know. Let us know in the comments. But anyway, now that you've just messed all my mojo up, we got these big 8-foot sliding glass doors. You're going in front of the cabin, and we decided that me and her were going to try to put one in today by ourselves. And I made a Jeffro Bodine jib crane that I ratchet strapped down to the top of my man basket with some ratchet straps holding the windows up. We didn't break anything, but the door's not in. So that's gonna, and I videoed it, and I'm so inclined not to show it, but I'm like, you know what? I did this. I'm going to show it, but I did learn a lot, and I got a better idea for tomorrow. But it's going to rain, so yeah, that's what I did. How about you, man?
Haven't been doing anything with sliding glass doors. Kind of glad. Construction projects usually, I get a lot of anxiety about that stuff. When there's a bunch of disruption, man, I am a Holly would tell you, I don't necessarily like change. I'm pretty set and chill in my ways, but she's a little bit more of a disruptor than I am when it comes to the home, the home life. But I've been working on all kinds of stuff, man. So one thing, because we have had such an amazing, jinky, not junky. Oh no, I see BFF number 2 is in the house.
Oh no,
we got to help out in here.
I got to move over to comments.
Yep. Got Sumo Citrus in here.
There's my nephew's in here. William Dalton Osborne. I'm trying to get around my camera. Camera's sitting in front of the screen.
Where's your handyman with their farm? All right, so yes, what I've been up to. I've tested a new piece of equipment this week, and there's one of these pieces of equipment in the entire world. And rather than wait for people who are friends here, because if we're all sitting here hanging out, we're going to talk about it. And I want to show my friends this piece of equipment because it was awesome, and I'm blessed to have the opportunity to test it. So roll that beautiful bean footage.
Wait, so nobody else seen this first? We're the first,
right? No one has seen this. I just filmed this. I did it with my phone, so the audio is not perfect. And this is a what'd you get, Hinky? This is kind of a Hinky platform here on StreamYard, which is what we use for our podcast here. Or so we can only use so much file space. So if it's a little grainy, that's why. But I just thought you guys get a kick out of this. We got a bunch of tractor guys in here. I mean, we love tractors.
All right, we'll roll it.
Let's do it.
Well, this video is not going to be posted. This is for our live group. This is for you guys watching right now on the live video. I'm going to show you something that I'm working on right now that is going to be coming out probably next week or so. But this is a prototype by Baumelite. There's one of these in the world that I'm aware of. They're gonna make a lot more probably, but one, and it's here on the farm. So check this out. So this is the Baumelite FMP 780 Big Daddy.
That thing is beat up. Look at that thing.
Now this is,
I love it.
it's one of one. So there's some road rash and stuff on here. This thing has been worked to death. This is a 110 horsepower gearbox on this thing. Massive, massive flail mower. I mean, this sucker is a big one. I'll take you guys along, and I figured that our most loyal guys, that's you guys that watch the live,
Love the
you guys
camera
should see
work.
it first. So sorry, really harsh light, man. But anyway, this thing's pretty awesome. Just mowed a bunch of trails.
It's kind of like we planned it that way.
Pulverized everything, and I'm going to be getting my blind very quietly. So today, I believe we're talking about kind of the rut and everything else. This thing may have just done a good job for me hunting. But anyway, I'm tired, y'all. Back to the live.
Anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. I was like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm going to talk to my friend. I was sitting there. I was tired. You could see my face. I was sweaty. I was like, you know what, man? I got to talk to my bros out there in the live. And we have a few
That
ladies
was this
too,
weekend?
huh? That was
That
yesterday.
was this weekend? Oh, it was yesterday.
It was
Okay.
yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I got that thing out, and Baumlight reached out to me, and they actually said it was okay if I shared it. But they said that you have one of their smaller flail mowers, and I've
Yeah, it's a beast as well.
oh my gosh, man. And again, listen, we got to do this because we're content creators. They didn't pay me anything to say this stuff. I don't even know if I have to send the thing back or not. So I just love testing stuff. But they said we're going to make I think it's 78 inches, and yours is 48. Is that right?
No, mine's 60 inches.
60. Okay, so this is about 18 inches wider, and
How much does
it's
it weigh?
legit, man. It's legit. I ran over a bunch of sweet gums with it, and there's actually, if you go on YouTube right now, not right now because you're here with us.
Yeah, you got to stay with us now. Don't listen to him.
If you go on YouTube and you look up the FMP 780, which is what this one is, you'll see like 110 horsepower tractor going like 90 miles an hour with this thing. They beat the crap out of this thing. So it's banged up, but I had a blast messing with it. So Bob, it is built like a tank.
Yeah, I'm a big Baumelite guy, and my flail mower it's 60-inch wide flail mower. And anybody knows anything about flail mowers, a 60-inch flail mower average maybe 450, 500 if it's really good quality. Baumelite flail mower is 1,000 pounds.
Yep. Thank you, Hank. We appreciate that, man. Well, what I've realized about them, and I don't know why we're talking about Baumelite. I just took that video. I just thought it was cool. But there's some people make stuff cheap and affordable. Some people make things because they want it to be right.
Right.
Baumelite stuff is more expensive. It's sometimes, some cases,
It's a lifetime purchase, man.
But it is a lifetime purchase. And I gave them feedback on that machine, and they emailed me back this afternoon and said both of the things that I recommended to them, one of which was replaceable skid shoes, because I think it should have that for a piece of equipment like that. And the other one was somehow you hook if you have a quick hitch, hooking it up. And they said they're going to do both of them. So I think it's amazing that we have that kind of feedback. But one other thing, I don't want to monopolize other thing. One absolutely awesome thing happened. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen this. But let's go ahead and show that picture of Joe the Farmer 2, version 2.0.
Bam.
Boom.
Look at there.
Ladies and gentlemen, my son took his very first white-tailed deer on youth weekend in the great state of Tennessee. And
a nice one, too.
It is a nice one. And I have been showing this picture to a lot of people. He was excited. He is a great, sweet young man. Like, he has a heart of gold. He's a good kid. And he has listened from the time he was small. And he takes instruction very well. He's very careful. He's meticulous about what he does. He didn't want to take shots on an animal, so he was ready. And he smoked that thing at 157 yards with a 6.5 Creedmoor. So very proud of him. And he's not smiling at all.
Not at all. He's not excited at all.
No, not at all. He was less excited than Dad was. Dad was shaking like a leaf. But so speaking of rut, speaking of deer, speaking of all this stuff, tonight is going to be interactive. We would love to hear how you guys are doing. We have a special guest, and a lot of you guys know this special guest. Any guesses in the comments? We'll give it a minute or two, see if anybody wants to guess. Bob, thank you. Vance, thank you. I mean, Anthony, like, Wheeler Farm, who's your handyman, like it's awesome when your kids get to go out there and enjoy what you love too, even no matter what it is, just sharing that kind of stuff. Yeah, Wade wants to know, Tony, if you could show photos from your phone onto the stream. Tony uses an Android. I don't know if you know this or not.
Listen,
does Android do cameras? Can you do
Yes,
pictures
they
on an
put
Android?
he just sent you. Oh, well, I don't know if I can get this to show this or not, but I'm going to try it. That's awesome.
Yeah, we could see it like that. That's easy. Oh my God. That's awesome. So nobody wants to get, Sumo Citrus is guessing one of the 7 dwarfs on here for, Evan? No, Evan's not on here, buddy.
No, not this time.
Not this time. Well, we've got someone, I'll give you a hint. He kind of sounds a little bit like Clint Eastwood. Still no guesses?
No guesses.
Get off my lawn.
Let me get back over to my screens. I got to get my button.
I will introduce him, and this is the thing. So again, Joe, did Kapper forget what day it was? I don't know. Why don't we ask him? Ladies and gentlemen, we want to bring in Kapper from Kapper Outdoors. Kapper!
Hey, what do you say, guys?
Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn.
There it is. Dale, good guess, man. We had some folks that actually guessed you, Joe. And to introduce you real quick, I'll let you say kind of a little bit about your channel. But Joe and I've been friends. I actually watched his channel before I ever started a YouTube channel, probably because he's been doing it since I was probably 11.
Yeah.
And
Pretty much.
I actually sent Kapper a note one time, handwritten note, and I just said, hey man, I just want you to know how much I appreciate watching your videos. It's really fun watching how passionate you are about land and machines and all the things I enjoy also. And he actually, I don't know if you emailed me or called me or what, but we just started talking, became friends. Like, it was the magic of YouTube bringing people together, and we've been friends ever since. I think the world of him. And real quickly, I also want to say to both of you guys, Tony, Kapper, and a lot of the folks who watch, man, thank you guys for your service. We just had Veterans Day. And we wouldn't be in this great country, and the future wouldn't look bright like it says on your shirt.
Oh, I am a little fuzzy.
If we didn't have men like you serving. So thank you guys for your service.
My camera.
Joe, do you remember what you actually told me something that you saw me do in a video that was kind of a little bit crazy, and you remember?
Oh, I do. I remember. So one of the things I always loved about Kapper is that he'd sit in that camo chair in front of the green screen, kind of like you're doing right now.
Yes.
I was clicking through. I was like, "Who is this clown?" And I started watching, and I was like, "Man,
I hear that a lot." Yeah.
Yeah, man. I was like, he kind of speaks the same language I do. So no, I enjoyed it. Well, tell us about your channel, Cap.
Well, our main channel was just about country living, modern homestead. I can remember when I was still on the job, and my job was kind of crummy back then at the time, and I would always look for videos to watch while I was on break. Of course, I wouldn't do it while I was working. So anyways, this was like 12 plus years ago, maybe a little longer, and I was looking to buy a tractor, and it was hard to find like regular people with good videos. So as I was researching my first tractor, I was like, man, there ain't really many good videos other than, commercials. And so anyways, I thought maybe I'll start making some, because I ended up buying my very first tractor, and we bought our very first piece of land. And so, there was a whole basket of reasons, but I thought I'm going to give it a try. And if nothing else, as life goes on and we get the kids grow up, and if nothing else, they could always tune into the channel and see what's going on the farm, because I figured at some point we were going to move away, because we wanted to buy land, but we couldn't afford land where we were living back then at the time, which was up in Wisconsin. On our salaries at the time, we couldn't afford it. Anyways, so that's kind of one of the reasons we started the channel. And our main channel is pretty much a basket of everything, anything with country living, machines, deer hunting, food plotting, and all that. And then we kind of morphed into 2.0, which focuses a lot more on land management and developing your land, and we just try to inspire people to pursue your dreams, whatever it is, because our dream is owning land. We just love the fact of being able to look outside and see wildlife and not see concrete. So that's just kind of our dream. And it's been quite the ride. I mean, we've met some pretty amazing people, and I've had people like you reach out over the years, and we continue to meet people on the channel. So, man, it's really fun. And I guess I don't know what else I would do right now. Think about it.
Yeah,
Right.
man, that's awesome.
So
Well-
funny story. I met you two together, and that's how me and Joe become such good friends.
Yeah.
We met each other at is it the National Farm Machinery Show, or was it the
Farm Machinery Show?
National Farm Machinery Show?
Well, it's kind of like when Spider-Man, when good Spider-Man sees bad Spider-Man. Like you've watched my channel, I've watched your channel. We're kind of like,
Right.
you know.
Absolutely.
So it was awesome. And Kapper, obviously, other people here know who you are, because when he first got his mini excavator and had it spinning 360 degrees at night with the drone up, it might have been the meds and for a cocktail, but that was a classic video I'll never forget.
Yeah, that's Brett. He's probably our top fan. He's been with us forever. And I was hoping at some point we could get together. He lived in Illinois when we lived there. But I don't remember if he was 2, 3, 4 hours away. But, we've stayed in touch for quite a while. He's got health stuff going on, and so do I. But anyways, yeah, he'll throw me under the bus once or twice by the end of this thing. I guarantee it.
That's awesome. Well, Brett, we're glad you're here. And Kevin Montgomery, a little late. We'll watch you miss later. We are glad you're here, my friend. And thank you guys again for everybody coming in and spending time with us.
Yeah, a lot of people coming in.
Kevin Fee, he's the old penny, man. He just turns up.
That's
I
right.
love you, Kevin. Appreciate you coming in here, brother. But so usually what we do, we say, Kapper, this is kind of like a campfire. It's like all of us are just hanging out. It's a deer camp or some other time, and we're just sitting here having a conversation, just talking about kind of what we're working on, what we're doing, what's new in life. We get derailed very easily, unfortunately.
Absolutely. We're going to go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Promise.
So anyway, what I was saying about the election, but no.
What?
Squirrel.
Oh,
but
my
we
goodness.
want to talk about kind of like right now, this is for people that like the outdoors and like whitetail deer. This is the time of year where we're super excited about it. This is what, as Bill Winke would say, this is what dreams are made of, right? And
you grow your whitetail beard.
Yep.
yeah, you guys are a couple cold bucks I'm looking at. I mean, this is how we are, and but
I'm just trying not to scare them off, and you cover up some of that ugly here. I don't scare the deer off.
I don't know. You both are
Might
married
grow
to
some more.
beautiful women, so I think that you both are doing okay.
Well, her eyesight's not that good though.
Well, that doesn't matter. It's not your problem. But Kapper, you're an interesting guy because you have spent so much of your time, your life, your energy, your money, very openly too. You have probably the most transparent YouTube channel that I follow and that I have followed. You put it all out there. You show dollar signs. You tell people the good, the bad, and the ugly while you're going through things, which is different. But man, so much of your life has been wrapped up in whitetail deer hunting. And I think that you're going to be someone that has seen a lot. Maybe you're not one of the folks on TV who pretends to be an expert. You're very transparent about what you do and don't know. But I think that as people, share kind of what they're going through, maybe you can shed some light on your experiences. And, Tony and I are just juniors, man. I never even shot a deer. I'm new to this. I've never done it before.
Well, it might.
Hey, look at that.
It fits right up there.
Right?
It kind of does. That looks
It barely covers your globe, but I mean it's
Barely.
only a 180. So
What kind of
imagine
night
if you
club
had
is
a
that?
little buck like the rest of us, we wouldn't even see it with the size of your brain, Joe.
Yeah. Hey, this is what putting a deer on your wall looks like, Kapper. You should try it.
I know. So I got to correct you. I don't mean correct you, but I'm obsessed in that. But it's not really with the deer hunting. It's kind of strange, but I'm obsessed with the succeeding on land management projects. It kind of morphed. It used to be the deer. The final product was if I could put myself in front of basically the biggest deer on my property, that was my life challenge. Well, I've done that a handful of times, and I've done it for other people too, but it's more the land. It's more being like an artist, taking a blank slate that's unpainted and seeing what you can make out of it. I mean, you know, we've bought and flipped it, and we never planned on doing that. It just kind of happened based on our life circumstances. But it's more of taking whatever, a 15 acre, a 5 acre, a 20, a 50 acre piece of land that is kind of abused or neglected, and seeing what you can create from it. That's really what I enjoy. I mean, the deer hunting, yes, it's nice to get yourself in front of a nice deer. I mean, maybe someday a world-class deer, but it's the other 364 days, really. I mean, that's what I enjoy. It's year round. Like, I mean, today I had a great day out on the excavator, you know, rehabbing one of the farm ponds that blew out probably 20 years ago. And in the meantime, it's covered up in deer tracks. I don't have a camera on it yet, but I just take joy in building the land and then seeing what you've done with it. That's really the life challenge. I mean, I'm driven with that. It's not even so much in the stand anymore, to be honest. I just love the taking, you know, like in this Missouri farm. I mean,
you sound more like a the journey guy versus
absolutely.
More the journey is more important than getting there.
Yeah, totally, and that's kind of how our channels played out. Is that I try to document the journey, and it's not for everyone, but it's, you know, back when, like I said, when I used to be on a job and looking for videos and people to follow, I would give anything to be on a weekend on the deer farm. And so that's why I do our daily journeys for people that can't do it. They can't be on their hunting land, or they can't be on the land they don't even own yet, but they dream about owning. Right. They can come tag along any day of the week for the fresh air and the lack of concrete, no drama. Well, of course, I've been called the drama queen a few times, but
all right, I apologize to you already. I said I was sorry.
I've been called a lot worse than that.
So what would you think if someone was still pursuing buying land? You know, we actually get a lot of questions. Tony and I are both sponsored by TYM, so we have a lot of folks who will watch our videos that look for TYM content or tractor content, like trying to figure out what tractor they want to buy. And then it leads to the discussion of like, okay, well, what kind of land do you have? Well, we're still looking for the land. So they'll shop for the tractor before the land. And a lot of times the question will follow up with like, all right, well, I want to do X, Y, Z, you know, what size property or what size machine should I be looking for? So I'll ask you, you know, as someone who is, you know, like, you obviously enjoyed, you know, working the land, but whitetails are kind of what brought you to it. Like, what is the perfect size land? Not 575 acres, which we know, you know, we'll go ahead and let you flex that one real quick. But, you know, if you're someone who just wants to get out there, buy their own place, you know, throw up a couple stands and, you know, hunt their own ground, you know, what is the right size? You know,
well, it's hard to say. As prices go up, things change. It's very regional. If you've never owned land and you've lived in a city or whatever, if you had a subdivision kind of home, I mean, a 20-acre parcel is going to feel like you own the world. You know, Absolutely. You're going to have room to roam. You could ride ATVs. You could get a tractor. You could do food plots. You could do gardening, all kinds of stuff, you know. 40 used to be my standard. Like, you know, it'd be nice to just have a 40, you know, and then we kind of morphed over the years. But like I said, I'm pretty obsessed about it. You know, I always thought then for the
went from 40 to 575.
Well, we went in stages, you know, but as it got more serious, I always thought for a serious deer hunter, 80. But if it's for someone that just wants to enjoy land or whatever, 10 acres, 5 acres, compared to just a city lot where you're like this, you know, you're trading mustard and through the bathroom door to the neighbor's house.
Let me tell you a story.
A 5 acre parcel is going to be room to roam.
Yeah, let me tell you a story real quick. So when we first retired, we bought this property here, and it's just where the house is at. It's just 2.5 acres. And I did about probably a half-acre garden in the backyard. And that's when we first started a YouTube channel. And this one guy from England was watching our channel, and he was just absolutely amazed that our garden was a half acre, because over there, a half acre is basically
a neighborhood.
It's a neighborhood. It really, I mean, they're basically the land that they own is the footprint of their house and maybe 300 square foot outside, and that's very common. Like they do like they hang baskets outside the windows of the home with dirt in them. And I found that to be so unusual when we take it for granted around here, especially where I'm at and where you guys are at, that it's, that land is reasonably, not as inexpensive as it once was, but there's still room to breathe here.
Well, that'll go away soon.
I think so.
If that's the one thing we've seen from state to state to state is the same patterns, history repeats itself.
Sure.
And, when you talk about buying land, the one thing I'll say that if you talk to people who are looking for land is don't look for the deal. Because I can tell you out of all the properties we've bought over the years, we never got that deal. We paid what I always thought was more than maybe what it was worth. But if you look at history, even the last 200 years of inflation, it's not coming down. And if it does, it might be a very short blip on the radar. But if you like a piece of land, be willing to pay a little more for it, because you can't put a price tag on walking out in the woods. I mean, think about this. We live where people want to go on vacation. And people pay money to go to campgrounds. They pay money to go to cabins in the woods and that kind of thing. So if you're wanting to buy your own piece of land and you think it's just a little expensive, be willing to consider doing it, because 5 years from now, you're going to look back and say, you know what, maybe it wasn't too expensive.
Well, that's the expression, when you buy land, you can't believe what you pay for it. When you sell it, you can't believe what you paid for it. So it's, 100%. Brett S says, Kapper Productions, what's up with your camera? Can barely see your face. He's an Android guy, Brett. That's the best I can say.
Yeah, there. Because I got there.
Whoa. Look at that lettuce up there.
Yeah. So I still got a little hair going on. That's natural. Natural, by the way.
Yeah, Joe gives me a hard time because my hair is getting some gray in it. So
salt and pepper, buddy.
I'm gonna change a light. Let's see what happens here.
So while he's saying that, we've had, I want to know who's filled a tag. I saw a little bit of trash talking going earlier in the comment section with Peterson Farms, and was it Bob?
I think it was Wade.
Maybe.
We lost Joe. We lost you for a second, brother.
No, I'm here.
Yeah, well, you are, but you weren't for a minute. I think Peterson Farm and Wade was messing with you.
Well, Bob said I got the rest of the year off, Phil. So does that mean that you filled a tag, Bob? I'm not sure, but anyway, I will tell you my goal, as we talked about before. I want to put probably 2 deer through the freeze dryer with the ground. Obviously, I'll take we'll take the back straps and the stakes and everything, but I'm going to try and freeze dry too. Keep putting some food up, and Clay has actually helped us a lot because he has 2 big old back straps we're going to eat on at least one of them on Christmas. So we're excited about that. Clay's 12 years old. He's putting food on the table.
Are you guys are you deer in a rut? Are you bucks in a rut there?
Well, here in Tennessee, I mean, I'll answer it while
Middle Tennessee
water, but in Middle Tennessee,
we have Tennessee.
Are you done?
No, go ahead.
You kind of look like Santa with that beard. I like that big old beard. I wanted to get whiter though.
You get some paint.
Looks good.
Yeah, I hate it. I'm ready to cut it off now.
Oh, Bob said no. He said he had 5 days off. I said I'm retired, so I got the rest of the year off. Gotcha. Okay. Doe here so far. Hey man, a doe is good. Good for you, Bob, my friend. You strike me as the kind of guy that doesn't have a hard time finding deer. So he said he plants 1 acre in sweet corn, and whitetails are going to love that. But
and raccoons as well.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, we could tag out on raccoons pretty quick. But
listen, I went from no raccoons to I put a little corn out, and it's like one day shows up, there's 1 raccoon, and 2 days later there's 5 raccoons, and last time is like 12 raccoons. I quit putting corn out. I was like, they're just going to have to eat off the food plot because literally the raccoons are scaring the deer away.
Well, they're going to kill your turkey population too. We
don't have the turkey population.
Well, that's because you have a lot of raccoons.
Apparently.
They're nest raiders, man. They'll kill. If you want turkeys, You gotta thin out the herd of raccoons.
It's going to happen.
But as far as what in Tennessee, we're a little bit different because a lot of the colder states, and we had George Cummins from Buck Bourbon on here, and he's super knowledgeable about whitetails, and just talking through some things with him. And I don't think we did that on that podcast, but just privately, what he says is that in colder climates, really, really cold areas, nature has just kind of shown. They showed the animals that they have to breed in a certain window of time to drop the fawns a certain amount of time so that they can survive. In Tennessee, our climate it's not extreme enough. So the rut is very long. It's not intense. You know that they're rutting. You'll see chasing. You'll see all those different things. But we start somewhere around, Halloween until about Thanksgiving is a rut. And then it almost dies off completely. And then we go to a mid-December rut. So we have a secondary rut that's pretty pronounced. Like mid-December is basically really December 7th to about the 20th. It's pretty on fire around Tennessee. Of course, I killed a nice deer on the 28th. So how about you guys?
Same here. So I guess we're pretty close to the same. I know we're starting to see a lot of movement. I mean, I felt bad though, because just on the highway going to the farm, I've seen 3 pretty nice bucks been nailed by cars, and I hate that. But because none of them
when we were driving for Youth Weekend, when I saw, when Clay shot his deer, there were deer everywhere. We hunted for an hour and 15 minutes.
Well, let me ask the group a question, and Kapper, I want to ask you this question too. So I'm developing, I'm trying to get some bucks, some bigger deer in my area, and I cleared off about 4 or 5 acres down in a bottom, so that it has no outside interference. There's no roads, there's nothing around it. So it's just 5 acres. And I believe I showed you this deer right here. It's a little, I think it's a little 6-point. That's the biggest buck that I have seen on my property. And all of the, that's been down, the camera's been down there for a while, for a good while. And I've seen like 12 doe sitting in front of the camera. So that you would think if there's going to be some bucks around, they would come, because there's 12 doe down there that are coming. What's your thoughts on pulling in a bigger buck?
Is that the 20-acre parcel?
Yeah, but it's surrounded by everything's surrounded by woods.
Okay. Is there a ridge top or anything that you could consider making a plot on?
On the ridge top? I'd have to do it towards the front of the property.
Okay. Not that the bucks won't hit the bottoms, but the bottoms are, the wind swirls a lot more. And
the reason I did the food plot right here is because there's a big open field across the road. And generally during what I've noticed of the pattern is the deer will go out into the field, they'll graze, and they'll come back and go through this bottom and go up into this hollow and bed down. That's what I've been
tried a few more cameras, like sometimes.
Oh, yeah. I've got different cameras in different locations, and I mean, I just not seen a big buck on my property, or for that matter, any turkeys at all. And there's tons of turkeys around our county, but just not near where we're at. There's a lot of coyotes.
More an expert than me on this, but he's mentioned it. I mean, can you bait or use any attractants in there?
Oh, whoa. We don't use the B word.
No, we don't use the B word here in Tennessee.
Feeding program, Kapper.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
And we can't do that in Tennessee either.
Yes, and I did throw some corn out, and I did have a great success with my raccoons. Got some really big raccoons. But
unfortunately, I've had land as small as like 2.5 acres, and then 5 and 15. And the thing with deer hunting is it's like when you're in a subdivision, all the neighbors,
we're surrounded
by have an effect.
Yeah, we're surrounded by, I don't know, probably 80, 100 acres of woods. So it's very, like 7 cars go down the road in a day.
Well, when you're talking deer, 80 to 100 acres is not a big area, really.
Jeff is actually thinking about what I'm thinking. Will you pull up that picture of that buck again, not little buck? So the first thing I think about when I see that is in the very back, you can see but that's really open. A mature buck is most likely, like, that little guy hasn't learned yet that if you stand there, you're basically standing in the middle of the Coliseum.
Right.
If you let some of the other areas kind of grow up, and even
So that lane, you think that lane's too wide?
I don't think it's too wide. I think that it's what's around it, right?
All
Like,
woods.
if I'm a buck that's out there in those trees, I can usually either scent check depending on the wind, or I can see through there. So, we had Mike from Domain on here, and they have some products that's like a screening product. So maybe putting some screening in there, letting some of that brush grow up in those trees, and really
So
opening up some of those trees, because you have a lot of dense, so some of those trees that are in there, opening
Yeah.
up pockets where sunlight can get down there, let some of that underbrush grow, because they really want places to hide. Bedding
Well,
it looks like bedding would
just
be
to
a
get a
big deal.
picture of this, on the right side, you see all of the trees. And
Mhm.
then just out of frame on the left side, there's all the trees. That is the extent of the width of that food plot. And it's basically long and narrow. And then over on, but anyway, you're supposed to, that's the information.
Tanya says no more cutting trees down. Tony
Yeah.
got a sawmill, and all of a sudden the bucks disappeared because he cut down all the trees.
This is the funny thing is literally since we bought this property, I've never ever seen a turkey in that property, and we're not. I was going to say earlier is our properties, all that acreage is really close to a big huge wildlife reserve, which is thousands of acres next to us, and I've seen big deer across the road on the other side of the road. I just wonder why on this side, why.
What do you got
Well,
planted?
I think bedding is going to be a big deal, and they have, like, when you're hunting deer, you just have to realize, and again, when I say hunting deer, I want to be very clear about something too. I've said this a million times. If I could never take a weapon with me again, I would still go out there and watch wildlife, because I just love it. Like, hunting deer for me is deer watching. Like, Tony says that kind of in jest, but it really is just watching them in their environment, right?
Sure, no, I get
So,
it.
Yep.
but when you're hunting deer, there's two different species. There's whitetail doe and young bucks like the one you just showed, and then there's a mature buck. A mature buck is a completely different animal. Like, you're going after Bigfoot because they're reclusive. They know how to survive. I had a guy, I said in one of my videos that my buddy Scott and I were hunting last year, and we were going after this deer. We called him Mr. Brightside. And this deer was probably one of the smartest deer I think either one of us ever saw. He was hiding in like little tree islands with brush that would grow under the trees. He was popping from island to island. We wouldn't know. He knew exactly where we were. And the only way that deer was killed last year, I watched him walk along a green field kind of like that, but the side of his body was touching all the brush to his right. He did not feel safe if that wasn't touching. Some of these big mature bucks, they want to feel that safety, right? And I had somebody say, like, "Oh, this guy's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about." And I'm not saying I'm an expert. I'm just saying I watched that deer very clearly. He had to feel safe because he knew. Like, he actually had a scar on him where it looked like he'd been shot before. So these guys learn real quick, how to stay alive. Deer are very, very good at staying alive as they age. And just when I see that, I need to come to your place, check it out, but we'll look around. I think there's probably some planting you could do, and we'll cut down all of Tanya's trees. Maybe we'll knock that greenhouse down and put a food plot there. She shed.
I think Kapper asked what we put down. I put down, let's see.
You're right, Bob.
I put down rye, wheat. If you can think of it, I put it down. I made the joke, and I'm going to take a doe this year. I always take, I'll take one or two doe this year. But I said that I told him, I was making the joke. It's like, this is only going to be $85 a pound for this deer meat because of the cost of my food plot. But
Oh, that's nothing.
he's like, nah, that's a weekend for me.
Well, not- yeah.
Kapper
my deer,
buys
yeah.
10,000 pounds of rye.
Yeah.
Kapper's one of those guys where you're like, "Hey, man, do you have a chainsaw?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I got a chainsaw." What is it? I've got the 48-inch bar, the 943cc engine. You're like, "Buddy, we're cutting down a rose bush. What are you doing?"
Here's my buddy here. He lives in the same county I do, but north of us, and it's true. Just north, the deer are bigger. Just literally 20 miles difference. And I just don't understand it. Why? First off, why there's obviously there's a reason why there's no turkey, and you can go 10 miles down the road and there are turkey, and we've never seen a turkey in our neighborhood ever. Or say our neighborhood.
I'm telling you right now,
we'll have to get
kill the
Felipe
nest raiders.
for a better.
You got to kill the nest raiders. Bobcats.
Yeah.
You got to kill bobcats. You got to kill the raccoons.
Predator.
It's on.
Yeah.
I got to go, guys. I'm headed to the woods.
Well, it's illegal right now to do it, so you may want to wait.
I will have to bring Felipe in, but your comment about the deer, the different sizes is, I mean, it's absolutely true. It's geographical. It could be from one county to the next, but a lot of it is habitat and nutrition. I mean, nutrition is like the number one thing, for the deer.
So we are from where he's at to where I'm at. We really get into the really heavy red clay and sand.
It's minerals in the soil too. Yeah.
Yeah. So
your handyman's exactly right.
You go further west and the sand, I mean, the soil is considerably better. I mean,
well, that's why in areas, North Missouri and Iowa and Wisconsin, where there's really good, in Northern Illinois, where there's really good soil and you got a lot of farmers, the cash crops feed the deer, and they feed them massive amounts of protein and carbohydrates. And then when you get in other areas, in the mountain areas where there's just, mass, there's acorns, and there's not really, like you said, if you're in red clay area, that's going to affect antler development. That's going to affect the body size. So that plays a huge part. Now, can you create your own habitat and grow big deer? Yes, I believe you can. It takes quite a number of years, but if you could create enough food, I mean, I learned from one of many guys up in Wisconsin that if you can plant enough food on your own, it takes probably half a decade. You can actually grow bigger deer.
This is my second year, so next year I should be there, right?
Well,
it only takes about 48 months. Yeah,
48 months.
No problem.
I'm sorry, that little bottom plot is just probably not the nutrition I was talking about.
Well, there's also, there's so much to it, and I mean, Tony, you're on the front end of a journey of where you will improve.
There literally was not even an opening for food.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is that the doe are getting used to it. The young bucks are going to get used to it. You can absolutely find a massive deer running through there just trying to chase doe because they don't use their sense. They're like us.
I got plenty of doe. That's what baffles me, because I got plenty of doe.
And you may have too many too, though. I mean, that's the thing, is that you can't be too out of balance.
Somebody's doing something, because they've all got 1 and 2 fawns. I'm just saying that don't happen by accident.
What do they look like?
Huh?
They don't look like They look like cattle fawns.
Yeah.
That little buck you showed us a picture of,
right?
In areas where there's too many does, the majority of the breeding is done by 1 and 2 year old bucks. So if you're lopsided and you have 20 does to every 1 buck, a lot of them does are getting bred by the one you just showed us a picture of.
Right. So knock them out of the game.
Kevin brings up a good point. So Kevin said he was born in Illinois, now lives in Missouri. The Illinois deer are 2 times as big, corn and bean fields. So here's the thing, is that like living in Tennessee. Well, if you guys follow me, follow my channel, you guys know that I like to go hunting in Kentucky once a year. I go with my buddies, and it is amazing. Like this guy behind me, that one right there. I'm telling you right now, there's a guy, his name's Heath. Heath and I, we're pretty strong guys. We could lift a deer, right? The 2 of us together. We couldn't get his dead weight on the back of the side-by-side. And we wanted to weigh him because his body was just unbelievably huge. And even the biggest buck in Tennessee is going to look small compared to the biggest doe in Kentucky. Like it's almost a completely different gene pool, right? So that's like putting me next to Shaq and saying like, hey, we're both human, but one of us can slam dunk a basketball better than the other one, right? And, Clay's buck, nice buck, solid, respectable buck.
Absolutely.
Clay and I were able to get in the back of the side-by-side without much issue, So it's like when you look at the body size and the difference, some of it is that, if you want to go and you want to kill a big deer and you want to really go for a trophy hunt, it may make sense to go to someone like Kapper, who's opening up a couple spots on his place to go shoot a big deer in Missouri, or we can go kick to Kevin's house and shoot some of his big deer. But if you want to shoot like 140, 150 inch deer in Tennessee, it's possible. It's very possible. But the higher the size of the antlers in Tennessee, the likelihood of that happening is not realistic. But where you are, Tony and Paris, as you kind of get closer to that Kentucky border and you even go north of that, they just exponentially start getting bigger.
That's where he's probably a rock's throw away from Kentucky. But here's another question. He said something about a pond. Well, I don't think I need a pond. I've got 6 live springs that run year round, so there's plenty of water there. What I got for them now is food and water year round. So,
well, you got food, you got water, and you got does.
Yeah.
But then the last 2 things.
What about dating app for deer? Like,
dating app for deer?
How do we put them together?
I'm about to get to that, but the last 2 things are cover and security. Security, especially for bucks, is huge. I mean, I've had a lot of different experiences on properties, with gas engines and electric, and if they don't like the ATVs running in and out, or if the bucks don't feel secure, they're going to want nothing to do with that area. They will go to where they feel secure. One exception may be the rut. What
do you think about this? Is all of this has been developed over the last 2 years. So there's a lot of tractor action, a lot of trails. We make trails back there.
That is 100% the reason.
Tanya cannot ride her trails any longer.
Well, but here's the thing: ride the trails, but be realistic. Because your channel is Tony's Tractor Adventure. We watch your channel because we want to watch you working machines, watching. It's not Tony's Quiet Property Adventure.
We're changing the name as soon as we get off here.
That's right. Hey guys, tune in next week. We're going to be talking about how to find serenity on Tony's property.
Tony's hushed adventure.
But this is so let's talk about this. Like we've got a lot of folks here that enjoy property and tractors and stuff like that. And listen, we make noise on our property, and what's the point of having it if you're not going to enjoy it? Kapper and I talk about that a lot. Like, we can all get to the point where we just get so obsessive about doing everything right. Now, I've come up with a couple things on my property. Like, we don't shoot guns. Like, we don't sight in past Halloween, right? Halloween, if you're not sighted in, you're just not going to hunt the property. You're not going to come out there with us with a rifle and like sight it in a range or some other place, because deer know. They start hearing gunshots. If they're a mature deer, they're like,
we know that's bad.
Yeah, I don't like that. The other thing you could do is, if you are somebody that has a tractor and you want to go hunt some big deer, say you have 10, 15 acres of property, reach out to some of your buddies that may have bigger property and say, hey, I've got some machines. You mind if I come over during, the non-hunting times and help you develop your property to be able to hunt on there? Like, help them out. Maybe you can go hunt somebody else's property a little bit, but you're going to have cover. You're going to have safety, security, and, they'll get used to your side-by-side. They'll get used to your tractor. That's not going to chase them off. When they,
I've got we quit shooting.
But real quick, look behind you, how everything is set up. That's your office, right? So if you came in there next time and all that stuff was ripped off the wall, you're gonna feel extremely uncomfortable and violated. That's how a big buck's gonna feel when he walks back.
No, I'm married, man. That would not surprise me at all.
Well, so that's why I said you're a cull buck. I don't know what to tell you. But you see what I'm saying? Like a big,
I do. I've changed a lot. I've changed a lot in that area.
You have, but they'll get used to it.
You're still at the mercy in a lot of ways of their neighboring properties. You're still at the mercy. And, with the watering holes, I get asked this a lot. One of the examples I use is if you got a 2-story house and you're watching your favorite football game and you're down in the basement and you got your snacks and your chips and all that stuff, and you got a refrigerator upstairs in the kitchen that has the cold ones in it, and you got a refrigerator right there at the bar in the basement. Which one are you going to go to get your cold beverage? You're going to go to that one right there next to you, and you're not going to go all the way up the stairs. And it might be the same thing with your creeks. I've seen this countless times. You're trying to lay out the best smorgasbord for the deer. If you want to bring them in, put the food at least near the water. I'm not saying they're not using
deer are lazy.
Water watering source. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
deer are very
Yeah.
late, especially older deer, because older deer, like older men, older bucks, their hips start hurting. They're carrying extra weight. They're tired. They've been chasing
Wait,
all the time.
me?
Like, huh?
Oh, so I thought you were talking about me.
So Who's Your
Well,
Handyman brings up a great point too. Thoughts on scent. So
Oh,
uh,
yes.
I know Capper's huge on scent, scent control specifically. I am too. And when we had George on here, I talked a little bit about ozonics. I did not want to like it. I don't sell ozonics. I'm not sponsored by ozonics. It kind of made me mad to spend that kind of money for something. But I 100% think ozonics does work. How it works, I don't know. I don't know that I buy into all that stuff, but like the sprays and those kinds of things, I don't know about all that stuff. But yeah, scent is huge. Playing the wind. I mean,
yeah,
you
I mean,
watch.
I set that area up there based upon the prevailing winds. Yeah, it's that lane is perfect. If you're at either end, the prevailing winds are generally always blowing across you.
Yeah.
Time after time asked, did I just say smorgasbord for deer? And unequivocally, yes, I did. Remember when I said I'm pretty passionate about this stuff? And I mean, if you want to create something better than what your neighbors have, well, you got to think outside of the box. I mean, if you want to create the most attractive area for the only big buck, like in Tony's area. So he's got a 20-acre piece. Let's say the average property is anywhere from 20 to 50, 60 acres. So in a square mile, you've got 20 different landowners that are all hunting deer. If there's only one mature buck in that square mile, you want to make the best place to try to bring that buck in. So absolutely, I make as much of a smorgasbord as I possibly can. We use sanctuary areas. We don't even go in the woods. We stay on our trails. I mean, but that's just us.
He doesn't even go into a hunting blind and shoot a deer. Like, he's that serious about scent control.
Yeah, occasionally.
Capper
I
won't
let
even go hunt.
my cameras do the work. I saw an article this week that says you can kill bigger deer from the couch, and I didn't read it because I had an idea what the gist is that don't hunt out there, don't overhunt and blow it up with scent and ATVs coming in and out, because that's a surefire way to discourage mature bucks. But it depends on what you want. If you just want time in the woods and you're okay with just some doe meat, hey, spend every day.
Well, I mean, the irony is that's all I hunt for is doe meat. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't trophy hunt per se. I would like to see some, big healthy bucks come through
How
there.
dare you pick on those women, Tony?
It's the way I roll, man. I mean, if you like we all have our tendencies, brother.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're hitting the nail on the head. We're getting a lot of good feedback too.
Yeah,
Who's
I'm
Your
reading
Handyman again said, he said, also what bling. So I'm not sure if you mean like what kind of chains and grills we wear in the blind, or if you meant what kind of blind. I think that's probably what it was, and I'm just giving you a hard time. But when it comes to blinds, I do believe that the nicer blinds that are more scent controlled, you can get away with a whole lot more. I know Hoosier, I'm just messing with you, but you can get away with a whole lot more with a nice quality blind. And there are investments; those are big expenses. But if you're going to hunt, really close to the edge of a food plot, or you're going to be super aggressive trying to get into bedding areas, a quality blind is going to be huge because, I can tell you right now, I can't sit still.
Yeah, I put my blind up, a month and a half ago, and deer. I mean, we don't do any kind of hunting other than I don't do any kind of hunting other than a gun hunt, and so pretty much the deer have the run of the property, all but basically 2-3 weeks of the year, because my nephew's going to hunt with me this year, so there'll be 2 people hunting total in the area. And as far as I know, there's hardly anybody else that hunts around our area.
I think Hoosiers getting an earful from everybody. Bob and Kevin get a hard time with the bling too. It was just funny. What kind of hunting bling do you use? Well, I've got this chain and I've got these tattoos over here. No, man, I think that if you're comfortable and you're confident on a hunt, you're going to do better too. And to close the loop on the blind, like blinds are if you like to hunt, you own the property and you're going to be there for a while, a nice quality box blind. They're not cheap. I understand that. I'm not trying to spend your money. I know money's hard to get by, but if this is truly something you're passionate about and you're really interested in, man, they're nice. You put an office chair in there like Kapper does, and you can drink your coffee in there. You can read a book. You do whatever you want to do and actually relax in there.
I need to do the one like in Texas, where they got them big old blinds set up on. They're like 4 stories tall with air conditioning and about 12 people in there. And that's what I need.
Yeah.
They're doing it right now.
2 things that I would like to add as far as the blinds go. First of all, where you're at, you're also at the mercy of the human training program. And what I mean by that is how the deer are trained, basically by hunting pressure. So in high areas, there's kind of a joke that goes around. If you're in a high pressure hunting area, them deer are trained to look up. Deer are not normally their instincts. Hawks can't kill deer for the most part, at least maybe not. So anyways, they're not born to look up in a tree, but the more hunting pressure you got, the more they're trained. So even with deer towers, when a deer tower first plops itself in, we put one in there, it's just this blob in the woods. But if deer are busting neighboring hunters in them blinds, well, then the deer can get trained. But I'm with Joe 100%. It's a lot. You can relax in a blind. You can keep the windows closed if you want. You can move around. I mean, back when I used to hunt in a tree, you get busted 10 times more than a blind. But here's a real quick story that just sums the blind up. So on one of our properties, I put corn food plots, and I don't know if I haven't seen Clark's around here, but he helped me. So it was 211 acres, and there was big bucks. It was about 100 and some acre thicket, and I put corn food plots in and soybeans, and it was great. And I leased it to 2 hunters. Okay, and I put in like 4 or 5 deer tower blinds. So these 2 hunters, one of them was a very strict hunter, scent control, the whole 9 yards, man. He was strict hunter. He killed 2 nice bucks there. The other gentleman wasn't so much. Okay. So he hunted this property, and they hunted all through like mid-December. And I said, hey, are you guys done hunting? If you are, I want to go try it out late season. And they said, yeah, we're all done. So that second gentleman I referred to did not kill a buck. So I went out on the worst day. It was snow blowing sideways, and I sat on a really, really nice corn food plot. Okay. If there's anywhere them deer are going to hit, on that kind of weather, it's going to be that corn food plot. I went in that blind, and I kid you not, every single deer that I could see kind of a long way, skirted all the way around that corn food plot. They wouldn't even come in for a bite of corn, even though it was like a 5-degree wind chill, because the guy hunting it was sloppy. So
gotcha. Makes sense if you really think about it.
Yeah.
Whatever, it doesn't really, especially in my location where it's only 20 acres right there. Again, the people behind me, I've never even seen a person on that property. But still, there are people that do hunt around us. So they're training the deer. Hey, we need to show some of we're getting close to the end of this thing here, so we need to show some of your videos, Kapper. You talk us through some of these.
All right, see what you got. So this is our Missouri farm here. This opening right here is brand new. We just had this cut with a big crew of guys here. We did a cost share for our Missouri, which is an awesome thing. It's a whole nother topic. But so
is this where my blind is? Where I get to sit when I come to your place?
It could be, yeah. So
okay, so these are all my target deer, right?
This could be, yeah.
What did you say earlier about the big bucks not walking out in the open?
So you see the green there. It's late.
I'll pause it. Yeah, go ahead.
This whole area, you got hundreds of acres of overgrown woods. Okay. So there's not much for food. The only natural food there is mast and browse. Okay. So when you make these clearings for wildlife, I'm going to plant food plot in here. You see that, but I'm telling you, animals gravitate to edge cover. You got edge cover, whether you plant food in here or you let natural browse come in here. We opened up 13 acres. It's spread out around the property like this. that is going to just be phenomenal in the next couple of years once I get food established in there. So this is just one of 9 brand new openings that we opened up around the property. And there again, you know, the bigger you can make your property layout, the less pressure you're going to put on the deer. If you get busted in one, and this is even if you had 20 acres, that's what I do with 20. We've developed 20 and 40 acre parcels. Spread them plots out around the property so that if you get busted in one, you know, you could go to another one.
Yeah, and those deer also, Tony. So you
And
asked a great question. You asked a great
being-
question. Why? Because it's so open there. But those deer have not experienced machines, side by sides, tractors, disruption at all. Then all of a sudden, a bunch of trees come down, almost like a tornado went through. So they're just curious because they were there anyway. But you know, when you have a lot of consistent encounters with humans and machines, that could run them off. But there's also the density. Like, look how many. I mean, we've seen 6 different bucks so far that are mature bucks. I mean, these are good looking deer. Tony, that's your deer right there that Kapper's going to let you hunt this year.
Is that what it is? Hey, I'd be happy for that. Yeah, I think maybe just talking to you guys, I think what it is I'm not being patient enough because, you know, I opened the that little food plot up area a little bit last year. I put down just a little bit of food, you know, food plot seed, and this year I went all out, opened it up quite a bit more. So I think I'm just being a little, maybe I'm being a little not patient enough.
Oh, it takes time. Believe me, it takes time. It takes years. I was going to answer Hoosier. He asked about our deer following the same paths. Yes, they are in the fact that I put them clearings on the ridge tops. So deer already like the ridge tops, but this one that Tony's showing right there.
Let me go back to it. There you go.
Go back to that one. Now this is a bottom plot. Tony, this is just like yours. So this is a
No,
bottom.
it's not. Hey, it's not like mine because
Well,
it's not like mine.
that's why I asked what you got planted there. But you said you got probably at least 7 or 8 different seed mixes.
Yes, yeah, I've got it all.
You could could plant gold nuggets in that ground, and that deer's not going to walk out.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it depends on the security. These deer obviously feel secure.
We don't have deer like that in Tennessee.
Bottom plot.
Not where we're at anyway.
No, I mean they're out there. It's just they're not.
We gotta go like in West Tennessee down by the Mississippi River. There's some big stuff down there, but
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's hard when I say you're at the mercy of your neighboring properties. You really, really are in so many ways.
Why is it like I just driving to the farm? I find 3 big deer killed on the side of the road. That's what's going on. They ain't making it to my property.
Yeah, they're in the rut. They're chasing.
They chased a doe across the street and got hit by a car.
Yeah, it didn't make it to my property. They probably were going to my property. That's what I'm telling myself.
Well, some of this also comes down to how often do you hunt and how long do you hunt, right? So like these days right now, if you were to go hunt your property, you know, in what we consider the peak rut in Tennessee, I mean, you got to sometimes sit all day or sit from sun up to 10, 11 a.m., then come back out around 2. But I mean, I've killed some nice deer sitting all day, but I just can't stomach sitting all day anymore. It's just,
well,
I can't.
I've been doing what Kapper said, and actually what you've talked about earlier too is let the camera do the work, kill it from your couch. So I've been really watching my cameras, and you know, I see 2 times. It's like continuously that herd of doe go out to feed on the field, and then they come back in, go through my food plot, top off, and then I guess bed down at night. It's like you see them leaving, and then each one of the bucks have been there, I guess probably 20, 30 minutes after the first light.
So Kevin's right too. Kevin Montgomery just said, small place, hunt when the wind's right, and blow your scent all over the place and see fewer deer. So, I mean, it takes hunting your property quite a while before you really get things figured out about how the wind swirls, what it does when, you know, the thermals are changing. And, you know, not to mention the fact, like, you know, we see that field that Kapper just showed us, right? Well, if the wind's coming from right to left, well, you may see, you know, buck on the left side of that field. If the wind's coming left to right, you'll see the buck on the right side of the field because he's trying to get as much intel as he possibly can by using his nose and not his eyes. They don't have the best eyesight. So, you know, you got to kind of know where that stand or where your blind is And one thing, again, Tony, you put it out there. So I'm not trying to get on you or anything or give you a hard time. I'm just
You
saying.
get on me, bud. Get on it.
But when you say you have a blind, that tells me that I'm just going to go hunt today because I have some time today to hunt. But you're not taking into consideration what that's doing around you if the wind's not right. So you should pretty much have like maybe 2 or 3 blinds depending on different wind directions, and how you get in and out of those blinds will dramatically affect the kind of deer that you see.
Well, like the whole thing was, let me take that down real quick. The whole thing was, like I said, when I started thinking about putting it down there, we have a big, giant, open cornfield, bean field, whatever's that year in it. And the wind always comes across, goes down the hill from west to east. It's like 90% of the time, that's what you're going to have. I mean, so much to the point that we put a wind generator up. So I did think that, which direction to put my food plot. I wanted the opening from north to south versus, prevailing wind. So I can get on either end of the food plot and hunt and not have to, worry too much about the wind blowing my scent wherever I'm aiming at or wherever I'm sitting. It'll always be to my back, but you always have that occasion where the wind changes on you. That's inevitable. But I'm only, like last year I hunted, 6 times, killed what I wanted, and I was done. So, yeah. But this year I've been watching for, I'm interested in, like I said, I hunt doe for meat. But I would love to take a nice buck, but
you're also competitive. We know this about you.
Yeah. Well, I can't shoot what ain't there.
Well, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Anthony, scent conscious, the ozone generator. So yeah, Anthony, you're right. The ozone things, you like those bags you throw your clothes in, especially if you don't have a chance to wash your clothes in some scent-free, scent-free detergent or something. But if you go on a hunt throwing in that ozone generator, it kills scent. And so here's the thing too about some of the ozonics and some of those ozone generators. If you have, it doesn't just have to be for hunting. Like if we get a musty smell in the mudroom or something like that from boots or something, like I'll put the ozonics in there. You turn it upside down so the fan can suck enough air in there, and just let that ozone go in there. It kills the scent in there too. So they're handy in a car or a truck that stinks, and if it takes the scent out of there, you have to think it has to work somehow. But like I said, I'm not, what is that? Ozone generator?
Yeah, big giant.
There you go, brother. Just, hey, bring one of those little, bring that little Patriots thing up there.
There you go.
I thought about maybe putting it out in the garage, hang all my stuff up and turn it on out there.
That'll work.
Tony, regarding that bottom plot of yours, have you researched or have any experience with thermal drafts?
No. I just gauge the wind blowing the trees leaves across.
Well, a lot of people don't pay attention.
It's not. You got to understand that our bottoms are not that much of a bottom. We're talking very light elevation.
Does it from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. does it get colder out?
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
It does.
So at 3 p.m. if it's 60 degrees and at 4:30 p.m. it's 45 degrees, you're going to have a thermal. It's just the fact that it's cold air, drops, warm air rises.
Sure.
So I guarantee you, thermals come into play all the time, especially in bottoms. That's why when I put my food plots, I do them on ridge tops. First of all, they like to travel on the ridge tops, but you don't have to contend with the thermals on the ridge tops. But on the bottom, them thermals will mess you up. The wind will swirl. It's a real thing. I guarantee it is.
Now getting in there becomes the challenge, but they do like to stay in the bottoms. The natural topography of the ground, like I've got one little saddle where they walk that saddle because there's hills on both sides of them, and they can't see the house, they can't see other things. So that's just natural cover to them, like that indentation. So the wind eddying around and doing that kind of stuff, that's not going to hurt you. It's the ingress and the egress. So to Kapper's point, you do have to kind of watch what the scent is doing when it's sitting at ground level, as the temperature rises or if the temperature drops, where your scent's going. So if the temperature is dropping, your scent could be going from your blind down to that bottom, right?
Yeah,
get that right.
Yeah, absolutely. You're saying, and the thing is if they're far enough and they wind you, you'll never know it.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff, if this was an entire glass of moonshine, we'd be having a different show in about 15
Yeah,
minutes.
it'll be like some skin and be OnlyFans and
Oh man. Yeah.
Well, guys,
this
I don't want to
water.
cut us off, but I have got to get up early in the morning.
Yeah, and I know that a lot of people have a lot of stuff to do, man. And we wanted to check in and just talk about what people are seeing in the rut. And we could do something else. If we could do this again, check in about a week if we want to, or we can what do y'all think? Let's see some comments. What do you want to talk about next? You like tractors, or talk about some more hunting, some outdoor projects? What do you guys want to talk about next
coming
time?
up?
We do like to talk about tractors.
I do like there's some tractor stuff coming up. You need some video. We need to share some video of that daggum flail mower you got.
I've got some video.
There's not very many people who say that I've got one of one.
I mean, listen, I'm not your average guy. I'm very.
Kevin P says I need to move my gym time. That's exactly what I'm doing too. I'm getting up early in the morning going to the gym.
All right, so Brett's got a good idea. Well, we've got freeze dryers, tractors, tractor videos. All right, so I think let's get a couple more votes in here. Come on, don't be shy. No one's shy here. We're not going to judge you either. Like, it's okay.
We're probably going to get.
We're probably
going to get deer hunting because we've been talking about deer hunting for an hour. So that's the only people that are left. Ones that like deer hunting.
Every week, deer and guns. Let's talk steaks.
Deer and guns.
I like steaks.
Steaks.
Tractors and attachments. All right.
Not the other meat, not pork, steaks.
Yeah, I do have to. I think we got to do a tractor. We ain't done a tractor in a while, and there's something I got to talk about. Show. I'm excited about it.
I like it. Well, why don't we do this? What we'll do in our next show, we'll talk. We'll give an update of how we've done in the field. If anyone shot anything, had any luck in the field, then I want you guys to do the same in the comments. Share with us what you guys done, and then we'll get into tractors. And Tony, we're gonna make it your tractor adventure, my friend.
I like it. Well, it won't be nothing happening to deer hunting until, let's see, what is it, the 23rd for me?
Who's your 23rd? It starts. It's muzzleloader here right now, but who's your? We will absolutely share your buck picks. If you want to email Tony or email me at joe@joethefarmer.com, that way we'll have the picks. Send them to us ahead of time because we have a hard time sharing them.
Yeah, I have to go through this whole ordeal of uploading them into this program, and yeah.
Okay, sure. Wade wants to talk about the socioeconomic climate of the early 19th century in Eastern Europe.
Okay, boy, he's always got something. Love it, guys.
He's special, man.
Best humor.
Hey, Wade, when the people in the full size bus drove off, did you feel like you were less of a man because you got on the little bus?
All right, guys.
Teasing with you. Hey, Kapper, thank you for having us. Tell us again one more time. How do we find you on YouTube?
Kapper Outdoors, Modern Homestead, or Kapper Outdoors 2.0. I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, Kapper's got a great channel. He has a ton of videos, lots and lots of entertainment. So, y'all, we appreciate you so much for.
Appreciate the audience. Excellent.
Hey, I want to thank you both today because you know what, I grew up in a place where there were so many deer. It was easy to kill a buck. I'm just saying there was just that many deer, and over in Weakley County, it's just got some big deer, and you don't have to think about that kind of stuff. But I learned a lot tonight. I learned or relearned a lot tonight. Things I need to think about.
Well, that's iron sharpens iron. That's why we're here.
Yep.
We all learn from each other.
Good luck, Tony. I'm sure you'll be out soon, but hopefully you see something with horns a little bit bigger than that one. It could happen.
Good. I mean, lightning can strike too.
Well,
all right. Listen, guys. Appreciate you bunches. Have a great night. Y'all hang around here.